Coming to you once again live from Deschler, Nebraska at the Spring Creek Model Train's 25th anniversary open house train show, pie eating extravaganza / whatever you want to be, to having a great time this weekend. Fireworks show, I don't know, monster truck rally maybe next. I don't know what we're doing, but yeah,
maybe dirt track racing.
There you go, dirt track racing. We'll take the Lincoln out on the dirt track, see what we can do. Yeah, we got Tony here behind us helping us out, but we've got on camera Mike and Jeff Zucker. Mike and Jeff, good to see you both. You've been that you're standing up still. I mean, you're sitting down right now, but it's probably been limited time over the last few days of the sitting around, being able to take a load off.
I don't know about Jeff. This is my first time in 3 days. I think I sat down.
I mean, I've leaned on something. I think
the body hurts in the morning. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. It's good times.
I bet. So yeah, awesome that you guys are being able to come in and join us a little bit. We recap what has been an awesome 25th anniversary celebration. I'm so thrilled to be here. My first trip out to Deschler, Nebraska, and we joked about this. And Mike came over to me and he said, "Are you okay? Like, you're not your normal self." And I said, I'm experiencing sensory overload right now. Like, I got on a plane at 6 o'clock this morning and then like somehow magically transformed to model railroad heaven. Like, so, checking my pulse, making sure I'm okay, and then, and then the overload, which I'm sure you see a lot of folks, the saying, stop in and say, wow, but there are probably a lot of people that stop in and don't know what to say.
Oh yeah. And we're humbled in what you're saying there about just, the model train heaven, right? I mean, we get used to it, right? Because we're here every day, but man, it's cool to hear, when guys show up and they're just loving to walk around the store and check it out. But I was worried about you.
No, I was just wildly impressed. This is kind of an off thought, but the store is impressive. You come into Deschler, you're driving through, you've got soybean on the right and corn on the left, and then the corn on the left and soybean on the right. And then all of a sudden you bang a left and then you're in this small town, and then it's boom, like unexpectedly, kind of hit you in the face in a good way. And you've got this awesome stuff. You're a winner of the Walthers Brick and Mortar Brigade winner, a multiple time winner, right? Mm-hmm. I'm impressed by the whole thing, including, and this is maybe something I'm going to start, a new competition, the best bathroom at a hobby shop. You guys have the cleanest, nicest restroom. Like, maybe that's like the one unplanned thing, but it's like it kind of sounds silly, but everything about it is so clean, and the hospitality, and of course, beyond the clean facilities, is smiling faces at the counter, people who want to be here. Yep. And we talk about wanting to be here. You two, as we learned last night, we were talking to mom and dad, how much you wanted to be here. Mm-hmm. And that's really amazing that, this family thing. We'll start with Jeff, because I know you came home first. Talk a little bit about this and, seeing mom and dad building this model railroad store from really the ground up, and then, watching it from afar and then becoming a part of it.
Oh yeah. It's been strange, actually. So I don't know if Dad covered it, but he started off with just selling off his own stuff he didn't want anymore, which is, now we go, do you do that?
So I'll stop you there. There's been some people trying to pry bar some stuff.
Well, there's been some pry bar. Okay, yes, because he does have, he has an eye for the
good stuff,
for sure. And I tell lots of folks, I said, you don't want him to know your favorite, because he will stock it, and you'll be going, oh my gosh, I didn't even know this was made, kind of thing. But no, it was, you went home for holidays and you're like, man, there's just all these boxes all of a sudden. And they, like they said, the spare bedroom, and as my wife likes to say, you come home for Christmas and you have to clean off the couch so you have somewhere to sit. And Grandma and Grandpa moved home and helped out, and that was, kind of amazing. And then really kind of stepped away for a bit after that myself, with the Napa store and all that. I really wasn't much of, I helped move in, I think, but that was it. And that was running well. And they were doing all these train shows, and they were seeing Mike and I all the time, because I was in Lincoln, Mike was in Omaha, and as they were traveling through, and you just kind of didn't think about it. And then my career was going well, but I was getting to a point where I was getting frustrated. I was at a glass ceiling. There was nowhere for me to go. And I was like, this model train thing intrigues me. Is like what, so I kind of started getting more involved with doing train shows, and then, the whole thing with the store happened, and I helped out more and more after that. They started with, well, we don't have anybody to do weekends. Oh, I'll come down every so often and run a weekend and be open so people can come. And it was one day Dad just called and he said, look, your mom and I have taken as far as we can go. And do you want to do this? Are you serious? Because we're ready.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh man, I don't know,
out
of the blue. But we had just had our second kid, and our third child, and Chrissy just said, well, I'd like to stay home with the baby. And I said, okay, I got one of two ways. I can either get a big raise or we can move to Deschler. And she goes, I'm okay either way. And we chose the Deschler route, and it's been amazing. It's been frustrating at times. Working with family is hard, because it's hard to turn off. Well,
Thanksgiving dinner with family can be hard.
Right.
Working with them every day is a beyond. That's a major challenge.
It's hard to turn off work.
It is.
You know what I mean? And just go back to, hey, we're just family and let's get along and joke around. And then it's
a roller coaster. But we get it figured out. So
Mike can blame me all he wants. I'm the one that kind of pried him, twisted an arm a little bit to get him to come. And when he got here, he helped me figure out and focus in on what we've become online anyway. So that's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. What was it like for you, Mike?
Well, as Jeff said, right, the phone caller, Jeff was who I was talking to about the store, right? And we had been talking about it for years, right? Or just, what mom and dad had built, right? And maybe what him and I could talk about where we could potentially take it. I was working at the Union Pacific at the time, but, Jeff and I were always talking about it. And as Jeff said, we would help out in Omaha and the Lincoln. I didn't come down here as much as Jeff did because, man, I was working most Saturdays at the UP. So, but I got to the point at the UP, it was time to make a move, a change, right? So Nicole and I started talking about it, and, it was time to make that move and to be able to come home and not just be with, my brother and my parents, right? But to be with my kids, right? Where I'm actually around, with them.
Yeah. And
now we get to travel together, right? My kids come with me on shows, right? I never could do that at corporate America.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I mean, bringing the kids to work at the UP probably wasn't a thing, but here at Spring Creek Model Trains, they're all involved. They're getting their hands involved, and you're waiting for rides back and forth from one of them, and and then you've got the kids are all helping in the store, ringing the register, or helping people in the store, or helping restock from the basement, and all these other tasks and things that are giving them some great life lessons and getting them involved, but and then it's also your family and a family generated thing. It's so from the outside watching it, it's so incredible to see how it all works and through that and through the challenges of working with family, how it never shows when you walk in the door. Everybody, smiling faces, happy to be here, happy to help folks. And how many people like your mom and dad are on, but you guys are the same thing. You've got so many people you're on first name basis. And Jennifer Howell said it so well. It's like walking into Cheers. Yeah. Like, it's like, hey, Norm, it's like, it's all that kind of same mentality.
Yeah. We definitely try for that. Right.
Yeah.
I think any one of us will say that. I think Dad might've said it yesterday, right? We just want to treat people like we want to be treated.
Yeah.
And our kids, our wives are the same way. Right. And it goes all the way down and, from from the top. But
yeah,
I think too. I'm gonna go. Sorry, you might have others, but
Well,
the other. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean it. Just
look at them. Look, this is this is them getting along, right?
Yeah, right.
Just to show a bunch of apologies.
Right.
No, go ahead, Jeff.
To me, it's so important to be kind of on that first name basis with a customer. I mean, it allows them to know that you care that they showed up.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And that's the simplest thing to do right off the bat. And if you can be that way, it makes everything smooth, you know.
Yeah.
And it lets them know that you're having, you know, it doesn't matter what kind of day you're having or their day is having. It's like if you can, hey, here's a little ray of sunshine.
Well, this is our
it's the
escape
same
from the
thing.
world, right?
Yeah.
It's our escape from the pressures and the stresses of life to be able to escape into our model railroad world. And this is part of the model railroad world.
Yeah.
And we try to do that with the guys on the phone. And the same, you know, I think Mom might have said it yesterday, or she said it to me in the past, right? I'm not always the best at remembering everybody's name, but I can look at you and I know I've seen you before. I know you've been to our store, or been to our booth, or
what scale you
and
like.
I am doing my best to remember everybody's name, but sometimes I fail at that, and I apologize out there. But man, we love having everybody because we recognize you, right?
Yeah.
We're going to be talking to you just like we did seeing you the last 20 years, right? So that's the
Absolutely. And if you're joining us here live on the chat, feel free to stop by and say hello as well. And I'd love to see you say hello, see who's watching us. They're joining us on their holiday weekend.
Right.
We're spending our holiday weekend here, just meeting a whole bunch of folks. We keep mentioning this shelf, and we'll definitely have to get a picture of the UPS shelf because we just watched it go from a few, and we've watched this thing grow. And that's the amazing folks that haven't made it here to Deschler, but made it to springcreekmodeltrains.com. There's one calling right now to place their order, and they're going to take that order, and then they're going to put the product right here on the shelf. And this little mini studio, I'm sure, is going to be very busy as they start shipping those orders out to you very soon. So if you haven't made it here, springcreekmodeltrains.com. And one of the things I know they can purchase on Spring Creek Model Trains, talk about this awesome car. We got it out in front of the table here so folks can see it. And we'll share some images out there as well on the Facebook pages of both Spring Creek Model Trains and on the Around the Layout podcast. But talk about this very special car that you have available this weekend.
So this is something I guess I got in my mind. You know, I've seen other hobby stores do this, or other like train shows and different things. You know, I've done custom cars over the years, and something, I don't know, Jeff and I started talking, or I started talking to Jeff a year and a half ago or something. It's like, hey, it'd be kind of cool with our 25th coming up. Let's do a car. And so we got caught talking a little bit, and I guess my mind went to KD a lot because it was American made, right? And then this little 2-bay cement hopper. We both grew up helping Dad do cement, you know, as, you know, his free labor out there, right? Hauling, cleaning shovels, right? I can still clean a shovel like nobody else. But,
Awesome.
but yeah, I mean, that's kind of why we went towards that cement hopper, is kind of family history, family legacy on the construction side of things. And man, we had a lot of great, I don't know.
It's good. No, it's good. It's a great thing to have. And we wanted customers to have a keepsake, or, you know, and to have it fit into a model railroad. If you wanted to run it, it didn't look out of place. You know, it looks good on a shelf and it looks good on a railroad. And that was our goal.
Yeah.
And
we had great friends that helped us, right?
yeah.
Come through that, you know, like Chris Johnson. Right?
Yeah. He was he did a lot of the laying it out to make sure it looked like it belonged on a hopper versus just a commemorative piece.
Yeah. And then Matt Gentry helped us get it to the finish line on all the details that we had put together. So, and helped us coordinate with, you know, KD getting it done. And then KD and Alan and KD, right? They were awesome to work with. So that was fun. So
yeah, it must have been a fun project. How long ago did you have to start to get this all ready for this weekend?
So, man, and it was a year and a half ago.
Wow.
Yeah. 18 months. Easy.
Yep, 18 months we were working on it.
Awesome.
So we knew that.
And it showed up right before the Amherst of 2025. So we started hauling it around. So it's definitely at all of our train shows, right? It'll be at any one of the booths, and definitely call a store on the website.
It's available on the website. Yep.
Yeah. We talked a lot about folks coming to Deschler, and, you know, Mom and Dad built this. off of going to those folks, and that continues in the world tour / circus move that you guys do seemingly every weekend or every other weekend or very often happens. How do you find out where to find Spring Creek model trains?
Well, you look at, we have our show schedule list on our website. It's one of the tabs across the top, and it'll give you a list. We try to keep it up to date, but we might be a little bit behind on getting some of the newer things on there right now.
I know.
So we try to keep loading that and keep going. And there's a few we do every year. I mean, you can't miss Amherst. You can't miss the National.
Right.
Milwaukee's Train Fest, when they're running it, we'll be there. So those are the big ones, but there are a lot of others that we try to do.
Yeah, that's something we're always looking at, right? Obviously, we got to make the world go around, right, and keep the business going. And that's one important part of how we do our business, and it's something we're always looking at and making sure we're balancing it with family and business. So,
well, I think that's one of the incredible things. You didn't stand in the middle of this cornfield and start yelling for people to come here.
Right.
Mom and Dad got out there and went to them.
Yep.
And went to see them, and and built that reputation by shaking hands and meeting people and talking to them and doing all the right things. I'm highly passionate about exceptional customer service, and especially in model railroad shops. You guys check all the boxes and then some, which is just an absolutely amazing thing to see. I talked to Mike. I said, we got to put an East Coast one because it's just, right? Exactly. Let's franchise it and put it on the East Coast. But no, it's a place to come. It's an escape and a vacation all wrapped in one. When you end up here at Spring Creek Model Trains, it's awesome. But you guys go out in the field as well. You go to the, basically at the foot of the customer. And I'm sure, the lessons learned. And you just came back from the N Scale convention, right? Talk a little bit about seeing your people, the N Scale folk. Yeah.
Well, the true scale.
Here we go. Tony just fell out of his chair.
Tony's heard that before. Yeah. No, the N Scale National. So I haul my family, or my family comes with me. We go there and we get some things done, getting set up. We actually participate a little bit in the convention, right? Get to go and see some layouts and everything. So I've always enjoyed going and doing that, and it's just a fun setup, right? And I've been doing it now. Let's see, that was my fourth convention in a row. So now it's really starting to recognize people, right? Got names coming, right? And repeats that show up and at least talk, right? And chat. And that's the fun part.
Yeah.
Awesome.
How are they doing on their layout? What are they modeling now? Those kind of things. And I like to say it too. And I think Jeff and I have talked about this. It's like, by no means are we the experts of model trains, right? We've done a lot of model trains, right? We've been doing it for 40 some years, each of us, but we're always learning stuff, right? And we'll tell you if we don't know how to do something, or we'll give you, here's our troubleshooting. Here's the way we would try to figure out whatever you're doing. Right. But
I can imagine the fun you have, because I got a little sample of that. I threw on this red shirt today, and I do have a Spring Creek Model Trains one, but this one does say Around the Layout Podcast on it. And at first I was telling Tony, I was like, I'm a little worried that they're going to confuse me. And then I went, let them, because I'll just help anyway. Just kind of for the moment, live the dream and be able to go and help somebody find what they're looking for. Yeah. And like I said, if somebody said, hey, I'm looking for this, I'll be like, I have no idea where it is, but we'll go find it together. We'll figure it out and be able to do that. So a lot of fun being here and being able to be a part of the Zucker family for the weekend, and and
more than
be able to help them. Yeah. So we've had a lot of fun here, and as we've been able to see some folks, and we've had some folks following us as well. And if you're catching this live again, feel free to say hi. We're saying hi right back at you, and glad you were able to spend part of your 4th of July weekend with us as we brought on amazing. And let's talk about that for a moment. The vendors, we talk about the people that showed up, which is always awesome. The Devin Jacksons, and we saw, the people by name. I saw Jimmy Anderson. These are all guys that support Around the Layout Podcast, and I know Coils was here. I missed him, didn't get to see him, but and there's so many others that I apologize if I'm missing your name, but so great to see you. But the vendors that also showed up here as well, coming out to the middle of Nebraska to be a part of this great train show that you have started out here.
Yeah, we're just honored by the people that are willing to come, the repeats, right? And I think I overheard Dad say that Intermountain was like our first manufacturer ever come to our show, and they've been here every year.
Every year.
Right? Tony's been here probably every year, and all of our Fremo events, they're willing to come up.
Well, Tony came in, went to the back room and punched the time card.
Oh,
So,
Yeah.
So I like it. But yeah, it's so fun. I mean, I know I'm missing folks, but right, we're calling everybody, right, and just saying, hey, can you make it this year? Right? We know it's a tough schedule, right? We do it in the summertime because we're slow, right? But,
right. It's the time of year where there's availability in the show schedule.
There you know,
it's like the fall and the springtime. That's the heat of the season, and that's when your attendances are probably the highest.
Yeah.
But we're busy. We're out there working.
Yeah.
So to do it in the summers was always the only way. And we keep after them. It's like we ask every year to some that can. And I always say, you know what? No is not a bad word. It isn't. And we'll take it and we'll go, okay, but we're going to keep you on the list for next year and we'll ask again.
Yeah, keep asking. Yeah.
So,
and we always try to fit it in, right, around our schedule, around what National is doing, right? Whatever, St. Louis RPM is always this time of year, right? So
yeah,
we're always looking at that and trying to fit ours in there every other year. And then like this year, right, it fell on the 4th of July weekend, a holiday weekend, right? And we tried to take another step, right? And we threw a little party, Friday night, right, where we invited everybody over and, let's celebrate the America while you're here, right?
Absolutely,
because we know people have all taken away time from their families to be, with us, right?
Yeah. Well, I tell you, it was a lot of fun. And of course, so you see all those folks and, you still talk about celebrating America. American Dream is what your folks have started. You guys are following as well to be able to, follow your passion and be able to turn it into, a business that supports your family. And then also, more importantly, supports the model railroad community. We can't have railroads without this stuff, right? The stuff that is inside these four walls, hanging on the racks and sitting on the shelves, is all the things we need. We would need, right? We all need it, right?
Absolutely,
and, absolutely. They are all needs, and being able to see how this entire thing operates inside. I've seen the road show. Now I've been here and get a great appreciation for what you folks have done. Absolutely amazing, guys. I appreciate what you've done here. Are you already thinking about 2027? Do you got a list kind of like what
Actually I do. We've had several people come up and said I'd love to do a clinic. I've had several that said that have layouts. They're like, what would it take for us to get on a list? It's like, that's all I needed right there. And we'll be in touch and we're going to work on, not right away, but we're going to be thinking about that date and trying to get that to set in and start contacting people so that they can plan it.
We're definitely going to do some wrap ups, right? Just to talk about those kind of things, the information that we've learned, right? And just things that we know we can do better at, right? And just keep trying to make it a sweet party for everybody to come to. I call it a party, right? Because I really have a good time.
A party. It really was a party. It was
just a whole event, right?
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it was. Not only the trains, but the people, and that's really that's the core of it. Is that the people?
Yeah.
The plastic that's around us is what is really. It's about the people in this hobby, and imagine the ideas that were shared this weekend.
Oh yeah.
The handshakes that were made, the planning, the flywheels that are leaving Deschler, Nebraska, heading back out to places all around the country, and that flywheel is turning. And the next project is being developed as they stare at the windshield or sit on that airplane or wherever they're going.
Right.
It started thanks to a great 4th of July weekend here in Deschler.
And that's the fun thing about model trains, right? Is because you can get that flywheel moving, and whatever you might be doing right now, right? You can take that next step.
Yeah.
And whatever your improvement is, right, is the betterment of your layout. And that's the cool thing. I know I've gone through all kinds of iterations.
Yeah.
We've all gone through iterations.
Right. I mean, it's just a cool part. So.
I would like to add that, without our group of volunteers that have helped us with this, we couldn't do this.
Not just volunteers, Danny and Glenda.
Our couple, our employees, and then all of our volunteers. It's just been amazing that they're willing to do this for us and help us out, and it's fantastic. So
Well, you can tell it's a passion for everybody who's involved, whether volunteer or, on the payroll or a member of the family or a member of the adopted family or anywhere in between. It's been an absolutely amazing thing that you folks have done here this weekend. So glad I was able to make it. Looking forward to 2027.
We're going to ready for you. We're going to save the studios.
That's right. We'll just leave everything right where it is. We'll be ready to go. We'll just come right back.
We're going to make this happen.
So awesome stuff. Well, Mike, Jeff, thank you so much for sitting down with me and taking some time out of this busy schedule to come on live with the folks and share a little bit of what's happening here in Nebraska and thank all the folks that have made this possible.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, thanks,
thank you so much.
Yep.
Thanks for being there for us.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks again, everybody. And thanks for joining us all weekend. We'll also have some additional content available on the Around the Layout podcast coming soon. Stay tuned for that. Until then, thank you, everybody. Take care.